guys, so we're going to move on to our next section, which is topic of the week.
Let's do this.
We have a pretty interesting topic, as usual, for this week, and it's to do with the state of Xbox. Let's have a little conversation about where Xbox is at, where they're headed, what's happening with them. The One X is on the horizon, so they've got new hardware dropping. But yeah, let's talk about the hardware. Let's talk about their first-party studios. Let's talk about them getting PUBG exclusivity, which is a big deal. Let's talk about the future.
Yeah.
So, like, PK, where's Xbox at right now?
Xbox.
In your opinion, where is it at?
Xbox are losing. They are losing, but they've been losing for a while.
Stating the obvious.
But, yeah, my view on Xbox has always been that they needed something that would keep them, if they're not going to overtake, look, let's not get ahead of ourselves and say that Xbox can catch up within the next couple of years in terms of sales.
No, that's done.
That's off the table.
Yeah.
But we have to start asking questions about the effort that they're putting in to try and get these exclusives out.
Mm-hmm.
We have to talk about why these exclusives are delaying.
Oh yeah.
And if you are talking about an Xbox One X, which is supposedly supposed to be the most powerful console, which it is going to be the most powerful console. But what are you giving us? What else are you giving us apart from raw power? Are you giving us the games that will only attract me to the One X?
Well, okay. So
I just want to know the direction or the angle that Xbox is going at right now.
Okay, so you're going into what their strategy is and where it's going. So one thing I would say is they don't care, first of all, whether you have an Xbox or not, because they put all their games on PC. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing I would say. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's fully on. As soon as we even get Halo 6 on PC, which I think is going to happen next E3, I mean, it's so obvious. Windows 10 Store, get your games there, cross-buy, and all that other stuff.
But to say they don't care, though.
There's
a lot of money. There's a lot of money being pumped into the Xbox itself.
Yeah, the hardware, but like the money in this game is always in royalties and software, isn't it? Mm-hmm. That's where the big bucks are made. So if you're buying Gears 4 and you buy Halo 6 next year, you're contributing. Microsoft think you're a contributing customer and they're happy. Because I'm sure the margins that they're going to make on the Xbox One X, which is $500, is probably not that much because that thing is extremely powerful. So I don't think that they're making a lot of profit on the system. So clearly they're banking on the Xbox One X just correcting the image of having underpowered hardware. Fair enough, that's a narrative thing that they want to put behind them. But ultimately, they don't care where you play Xbox games.
But if the Xbox itself is not as profitable, if they're making the profits regardless and they're pumping in the money...
From the S.
Yeah, well, from the S.
From the S.
Is it necessary for them to continue, if they're going to continue... Is it necessary for them to continue making Xbox games, essentially, if they're still going to make money from the PC version of games?
Oh yeah,
the console war is lost, but... Look, Crackdown 3 was talked about. What E3 was that? Was that 20...
Oh man, 2014 is when Crackdown 3 was announced.
Oh, 2014.
Yeah.
That was at E3.
Yeah, that's when Crackdown 3 was announced. And I'm glad you bring that up because, I mean, where the conversations kind of seems to be going everywhere, but the first-party studio situation is... I mean, the thing is they put out really good games at the start of the generation because exclusives are meant to act as the cherry on top of your system, or for the consumer as well. Most consumers are never going to play three-quarters of the exclusives that come out. But your hope is that they do find that one that they like, that someone tells them about, and yeah, maybe that's the one they say, oh yeah, I like, maybe the next Xbox comes out and they say, oh, I liked, for example, Sea of Thieves. So I'll get it because there's Sea of Thieves 2, for example. So
and the one-awaited Cuphead.
The Cuphead, yeah. So but the thing is, they've been so hardcore about restructuring their first party in terms of canceling games, closing down studios because we had Scalebound, which would have appealed to the hardcore gamer base. I think a lot of PS4 owners might have picked up an Xbox One for a game like Scalebound, for example. Even PC owners might have picked that up. Scalebound was cancelled. Fable Legends, which they sunk a lot of money into, ended up being cancelled. Lionhead Studios ended up getting shut down. You had Project Spark, which was supposed to be a Little Big Planet sort of game. They shut down that game after 3 to 6 months of it coming out. Crackdown 3, like you brought up, was delayed.
Yeah.
So
okay, let me ask this: if these games are being delayed or cancelled, or these first-party studios are just not available to Xbox itself for them to release a AAA world-class game, Xbox exclusive, is it possible now that Xbox just simply don't give a shit? Like, in the sense that
no.
even if this game is cancelled, we are still gonna make these games despite the time they come out, because when they come out, we will make the money. Is that laissez-faire attitude?
I think like Crackdown 3 is a good delay in the sense that it's clear that they're striving for quality. Sea of Thieves has been in beta, for example, for like God knows
2014,
like, how many years
now, and delayed.
Yeah, so I think what they're trying to do is streamline their first-party studios, and basically I think they just want to have a couple of those pillars, which are obviously Forza, Gears, Halo, and once in a while they'll throw in something extra. A Crackdown, a Sea of Thieves. They're not going to have this constant stream of exclusives throughout the year, kind of like what Nintendo and Sony to us. You know, Sony aren't consistent throughout the year, but they put out way more than Microsoft do, for example.
Yeah, true.
So like, I don't think they care, because it takes a lot of time, effort, talent to kind of be pumping out a lot of those games, because you know, not all of them are going to be smash hits. And Xbox, I feel like the company is mainly concentrating around having a few smash hits with a couple of random successes, which are fine, that kind of broaden the portfolio a little bit. Cuphead, Sea of Thieves, and that sort of thing.
I'm looking at the lineup for the One X, right? And I'm seeing Forza, Cuphead.
Exclusive wise? Super Lucky's Tale. Don't forget Super Lucky's Tale. You can't forget Super Lucky's Tale.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Actually, let's go there. Do you think PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, because it's sold only on PC, it's about at 11 million owners in 5 months on Steam. I mean, this is absolutely insane, guys. There's nothing out there like this. Microsoft getting this game is an extremely big get. Do you think it's enough to like turn the turn the narrative in a way, in terms of they're going to have this red hot exclusive for a period of time?
I mean, look at this. When you ask me that question, I start to think that what does it take? What type of game does it take? Let's even compare it to a PlayStation exclusive. What type of game does it take for it to be like, look, Xbox, well done. You did it. That's the game that we were looking for that will attract people.
PUBG is the game though, because PUBG is not on console. And PUBG is at 11 million owners. PUBG is the highest viewed game on Twitch. PUBG is all that anyone talks about right now, is my point.
It's enough.
And Fortnite,
do you think it's enough?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you. I don't know. Well, look, okay, you're asking me now. Just kidding. But yeah, I don't know if it's enough for them in terms of the Xbox One X, because it's going to be on Xbox One S. But the interesting thing with that is PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds is really badly optimized on a range of PCs. The Xbox One S is very, very underpowered. How is it going to run on there? It's 100 players on one map. So I'm really interested to see. Microsoft have been giving support to Bluehole, which is the studio who makes the game, and they've been giving them technical support and stuff. So I think it can cause a little bit of a dent in terms of like galvanizing the brand, because imagine if it's exclusive for a year. Not close the gap with PS4, because as we said, I mean that's over. I'm saying it can galvanize the brand in terms of like.
Well, it can close the gap from the level of mediocrity.
Yeah, everyone on Xbox is gonna play this game, but my thing is, first of all, how long is this game gonna be hot for? It's also on PC, and how well optimized is it gonna be for? Because it's coming out on Xbox as an early access game.
But it'll have the power, right? It will have the power.
The Xbox One X should be fine. My worry is with the Xbox One S. I don't think it can handle that game. Not at all. Because there's much powerful, much better PCs than that have a hard time running this game. Because I tend to read the PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds OT on NeoGAF. There's people with really good PCs who have a hard. Some guy who said once he parachutes in, he just has to like sit wherever he parachutes in. He has to crouch for like 2 minutes to let the textures load, and then he's good to start playing, which is ridiculous. You know, so that's the crazy thing. But let's talk about the games that are coming out next year for Xbox One, and whether that can like help like change the perceptions of it. We got Sea of Thieves, which is a pirate MMO from Rare. We got State of Decay 2, which is like online MMO-ish zombie game you play with your friends. And we have Crackdown 3, which is just delayed. Meant to come out this year, and we have that coming out next year. You know, open world, superhero-ish game, collect your orbs, have superpowers. I've never played Crackdown, so...
And a lot of shooting.
And a lot of shooting.
What about the games optimized for Xbox that are coming out? Enhanced.
Oh yeah, so you're talking about Assassin's Creed Origins,
Shadow of War,
Monster Hunter. There is a long list.
I don't know
of games.
if it's
you haven't seen the list.
Enhanced.
It is.
Enhanced?
Yeah, let me give you the list. Okay, keep going.
Well, the list is very, very. There's like over 100 games on that.
Yeah,
list,
that's what I think.
See, but
the selling point is.
But the selling point, in that sense, it's like, okay, you want to get people into your ecosystem at the end of the day. That's Microsoft Endgame, right? Why are they going to pimp the more expensive system when we're in year 4, guys, going into year 5 of these consoles? Why would anyone be... Because everyone who wanted a console has one at this point, okay? Yeah. Why would you be convincing a newbie, a casual Joe, to spend $500 instead of spend $200, and he's going to get like 3 games? He can get probably a voucher code for PlayerUnknown. He can get Assassin's Creed bundled, like you're talking about. He's got a 1080p TV at home. He doesn't have a 4K TV. So, and Microsoft doesn't care because you're spending money. So that's the thing. So I don't think, the proof is going to be in the pudding at the end of the day. We're going to need to see how big the jump is, because the Pro has not shown an appreciable jump in terms of quality for it to overshadow a regular PS4.
Well, look at it I'm looking at it from my point of view. If I already have a PlayStation 4, right, and I've got a 1080p TV and I don't have a 4K TV at this moment, but now I'm thinking, oh, the Xbox One X is coming out, and everybody says, let's even say
4K is the future.
4K is the future.
So, yeah.
Shadow of War is gonna look way better. It's gonna
Metro next year is gonna look
this
amazing.
game is gonna be absolutely amazing, but it's coming out on PlayStation 4 later on as well.
That's the thing as well.
I'm gonna step back. Yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna make that decision to say that I want the very best experience at the cost of getting a 1X and a 4K TV.
Yeah.
For me to really feel it.
Yeah.
Well, let me try to defend these guys a bit. I like Ole's point, where it's like some people don't want to make that jump. Like, you know, he can spend less and get some of those games.
Yeah.
But that's what Microsoft have done. They've covered that base.
Yes,
that's why
that's
the S
true.
is there.
Yeah.
And then the X is for the people
those
that
people.
want. So it's one of those things where if the X came out just by itself, I can get that. Like, they're only trying to hit one market.
Oh,
But
yeah,
here, they're literally going for the low-end market with the S.
Yeah.
They have the PC market with the crossplay, and then they have the X for the most powerful. People who want the difference. And then also there's this misconception about 4K. It was also part of the marketing as well, but it's not just about the 4K. It's about the quality of the games.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And when I say that, I mean, like, for example, I'm looking at the list of the enhanced games, right?
Yeah.
So Ark Survival Evolved is another game that's on PC. It's like
it runs like shit on console.
Yeah, it's on console right now.
It
Yeah,
runs like shit. Yeah.
And it's mostly running on like lower end settings on the console, right? It's like Minecraft, but like you know, open world, like you can create clients.
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs, yeah. But like, for example, that game will be out on Xbox One X, and it'll be 4K, which we all know 4K. Ignore the 4K. 60 FPS, fine. We all know it's 60 FPS, but it's going to run on epic settings. That's what they've released. So it's not just about the resolution of games, but these games, when they come to console, they normally downsize with the settings that they run on.
Yes.
But now with the One X, they'll be running at the highest set. Not all of them, but majority of them running at the highest settings that you get when you're playing on a PC, without having to build a rig and optimize your rig.
And to be fair, I think on top of that, with what you're saying, we should be fair and say if this thing is also going to work very well in any case with a 1080p TV.
Oh no,
exactly.
of course.
Because
No, of course
you
that-
are
of
going
course.
to get a lot of.
No, that is a
benefits
valid
of that
point. It is a valid
1080p,
point
yeah.
that it'll look fantastic and it'll run beautifully on 1080p. But the fact of the matter is that you're buying this console not to play it on a 1080. I don't think you're buying it for a 1080.
Well,
If you have chosen to buy the high grade or the higher performance of a standard console, it means that you are going to play it on the highest standard of display.
most of the time.
Most of the time,
yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the objective. That's why you're leaving your house to go buy this device.
Yeah, I will say this. For me, the Xbox One X, more than with what Michael just said, like more than trying to get people in, I think more than anything, it's about cleaning the slate, wiping the slate clean, and changing the narrative. I think that's way more than what Microsoft care about. How many? Of course, they wanted to sell as many.
Oh,
as they
yeah,
can.
well,
That's obvious. Any
that's
business would
obvious.
want that. But I think the bigger thing for them is like, look, we've got our asses kicked. In terms of our hardcore, because Xbox has been known for being technically competent, and they they screwed up with the Xbox One. Horrible, absolutely horrible messaging, underpowered, Connect, all of that garbage, and they're just trying to wipe the slate clean with the X. And the key money driver and everything is going to be yes. So I think that's the bigger goal with that, and of course it helps facilitate their generationless approach to having an ecosystem in terms of your games will work across any Xbox, and you can carry your library with you until you're a grandpa. You know what I mean? Which is great. I love that. I really wish PlayStation would do that.
Do you know what I think my conclusion for Xbox is and where they are right now? Between the 360 and the One X, it has been a fight.
Yes,
it has been a fight.
They've had to fight.
And I'm not
that
even
hard.
talking about the fights towards Sony and the PlayStation and other consoles. No, I'm thinking about it's a fight simply just to release games that are exclusive to your console. And if you have a console and you have entered the console department, you have to have exclusives that will attract other players. I mean, look, I understand the dick measuring contest of the 1080p and the most
4K,
powerful. I totally understand
yeah.
it. And
It's
I
a
do,
fair point.
It is
because
a fair
matters
point.
to a certain group of
And
people.
as
Yeah.
much as you can dispute it, it is a strength.
Yes.
But it is not your primary concern. I feel that your primary concern should be the games that you bring to the table. And if those games are enjoyable, even if they're on 1080p, hey, that's what you're going to win at.
Yeah, look at the Switch.
Exactly.
Perfect
They have to
example.
clean the slate after this generation of consoles, and I don't know how many years this gen is
I
going to
think
be
the
around
next
for.
Xbox is
Maybe
Okay, I mean,
3 years.
Let me just I'm gonna put this down so that Ellen can put it on the screen.
okay.
But yeah, I'm thinking.
We
like,
should have introduced you. We should have introduced them.
No, you shouldn't even say my name. I'm just the guy behind the
You're a
camera.
ghost.
Yeah.
Okay, I get your point, but to your point, I will say, okay, I want you to think about all the exclusive games. Yeah, I feel that now more than ever, the list of exclusive games are not as powerful as they used to be. Because think about next year, okay? I'm gonna give you a list of games that are gonna be out enhanced on the Xbox One. Yeah, and you tell me if these are games that you are gonna want to play. Okay, so Anthem. Okay.
Anthem looks good.
Okay.
Definitely.
Ashen is going to be out. Battlefield 1 will be out enhanced. New Call of Duty. Code Vein.
Yeah, that looks cool.
Dark Rising, New Darksiders, Dark and Light. Dishonored 2, the new Dishonored Outsider enhanced. Dragon Ball Z, Fighters.
Yeah.
Elite Dangerous, F1, Fallout, Far Cry 5, Final Fantasy 15. Will be enhanced as well for the console. For Honor, oh yeah, that game died, didn't it? Gears of War.
Yeah.
The new Gwent game, the new Halo, Hitman, Injustice, Killer Instinct, Homefront, Killing Floor 2 is coming out at 1800p, which is another story on its own. New Madden, Marvel vs. Capcom, your favorite game next year, Metal Gear Survive.
Oh, love that. Konami.
Shadow of War, Monster Hunter, which I really feel might be a game of the contender.
Yeah.
All of your NBA games, your NFLs, your Need for Speeds, your Ori, Outlast, Path of Exile, PlayerUnknown, like you guys have said.
The list is long.
It's very long, and that's what I'm saying. Now, if you tell me, in your mind, like, what are the games that would make you, if you didn't have a console right now, what games are coming out next year that you know of that would say, hey, that game will make me buy that console? To be honest, the only game I felt that way for in a long time is Zelda, which was meant to do that. Zelda is your example of what you're talking about. Like, you're those exclusives, like, on PS3 and on
I would have, like, for me it would probably be Last of Us and also God of War. Like,
that's what I'm saying. And those are fantastic, two fantastic games.
Yeah.
But if you think about in the year, you're not only, you think about how many games you play. Yeah. But think about how many games you have in your library. Those games that keep you going. Yeah. And like games that end up being game of the year.
But do people, I also want to ask is that do people always think about the longevity of these games that you're buying when you're buying with your console? Like if
now every game is a service.
Like what trailer you guys today saw the Red Dead trailer, right?
Yeah.
Games like these are the games that like actually they sell. GTA still sells.
But at the same time, they're on both.
That's my point.
You can play it on either.
Exactly. So my point is that the power of exclusives isn't as it once was, where it's like this exclusive means you are buying that console. Period. Yeah. Before you only had Metal Gear Solids on the PlayStation.
But if you're buying a console now, but if you're buying a PS4 now, you're gonna think about Horizon and Uncharted 4. You automatically know that those two games are gonna be contenders of the game of the year, and that's on one console, and it's exclusive.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, like, probably the hardest bundle seller for PlayStation 4 in the US was Destiny.
Destiny.
Those are the games that
new IP, like. Uncharted 4 also did insane numbers, but like for example, nothing's like Destiny and Call of Duty.
That's what I'm saying. The FIFAs, these other middle
But at the same time, Michael,
games,
those games are those hardware bundles are not $500.
No, I get.
That's the problem.
So my point is that the majority of the games you guys are going to be playing next year, the big games are going to be on Xbox One X, and they have that slight benefit of saying these games will be enhanced. Like right now, do you remember that trailer that just came? That the comparison thing they haven't like fully released when they showed the Tomb Raider that's going to be out on the Xbox One X. And how it looked compared to PS4 and to PC, and it looked better than the PC one. You know.
Oh yeah, but that's them.
No, I know. But I'm just saying, that is like one of those things where if I come to you right now and I say, okay, look. What do you want to play? You want to play an exclusive, or do you want to play Red Dead Redemption 2? You want Red Dead, and then so I'm just justifying that Microsoft's strategy here is saying like the power of exclusives is not as much as it once was. On PS3, dude, they had all your Final Fantasies, your Metal Gear Solids. It was a no-brainer. I'd say I can't play this game.
But your exclusives help you expand your audience.
Definitely.
And help you, because at the end of the day, everybody can say, yeah, it looks the best on Xbox, but the other guy has it too as well. So I don't really care. So I'm gonna. Plus as well, don't forget, PS4 is sold the most. So most likely that average person might be like, most of my friends have PS4, so I'm gonna go there. But I agree with you in terms of there are going to be a lot of people who are going to say, I play mostly third-party games. I don't give a fuck about the exclusive Sea of Thieves. Who cares about that?
Like,
I care about like Red Dead. Yeah,
I want
the best version of Red Dead.
The Witcher 3 is coming out enhanced on the thing. People are going to say like
Cyberpunk would be a better argument.
Exactly. So it's one of those things where the power of exclusives. I'm not putting that away. I'm just saying that it's not as it once was before, because now the power of these games, like if you think about next year, trust me, majority of the games you're thinking about are not even first party games.
That's debatable.
Think about it. No.
Well, we'll carry on this podcast for forever.
Cool.
I don't want to go down that line. I will say this. I think you're completely right in a lot of what you've said in terms of like the third parties are the bread and butter and it's where it's at. And a lot of people will say, I want the best version of the biggest games, with the games with the biggest marketing budget, which are right in your face. That's fair enough. I just think to a certain point, Microsoft has tipped the scale a bit too much in the third-party side, and it's kind of not achieving the nicer balance I would like to see, because I actually would like to get an Xbox One X, believe it or not. I actually would like to have one. It's just one. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'll give you my address, yeah? The thing I just feel is like, I kind of want a little bit more offered on the table from the first party side. Yeah. Fair enough. Maybe my tastes are different at the same time. Like I mean, I would play.
I respect what Xbox is doing. I respect.
It makes so much sense.
It makes sense.
It makes sense.
But the fact of the matter is just that Xbox sold more, and the first party games are still better than some of the games that are being offered within both Xbox and PlayStation. What I'm trying to say is that when someone offers you a AAA game, let's say it's Horizon Zero Dawn or
and it's
you see that game itself is a contender for a game of the year, and I'm not saying that I'm not saying that as soon as I get up in the morning and hear Horizon is out, I'm gonna say that I'm gonna buy a first party game. No, I'm just going to get Horizon because I've got a PlayStation 4. As soon as I play Horizon and I know that that game was designed just for me simply because I own a PS4, then at what point do I think that I should switch?
Yeah.
At what point am I gonna second guess myself to spend $500? No, I'm not saying that $500 is going to be a waste.
No, definitely.
I'm not saying that. But all I'm saying is that, should I bother spending the $500?
I think what I will say to close off with this for me is I think they're actually relatively in a good place. I think they're fine. I think their Xbox is making enough money from Microsoft.
They're definitely making money.
The downloads on the Xbox store, they're making way more. More than enough cash.
You think it can continue?
Oh, definitely.
It can continue,
because Xbox is always going to have a core fan base, especially in America and UK and a few parts of Europe. They're fine. They're always going to be able to turn a good enough. The profit is minuscule to Microsoft, but the division makes money. The thing that I think is, to a certain extent, in terms of trying to correct the narrative about power, which is a good thing to do, I think they may have lost sight of trying to give the system a bit of uniqueness and a bit of personality. That's what I think they've lost in the pursuit of power. But at the end of the day, I still think they're going to be fine. The Xbox One X is going to sell. It's going to maybe not sell ginormous numbers, but it's going to sell a lot. People are going to buy it. People are going to love it. It's going to deliver in many ways. So I think they're good looking into the future. The interesting part will be when we get to what PlayStation does with the PS5 and how Xbox reacts to that. Because these are essentially mid-gen upgrades.
So it'll be really before we completely close off, do you think this is more of a progression statement? Or do you think that it's maintenance?
Oh, this is maintenance. They needed to stop the bleeding. No, this is a maintenance thing. I think this is a maintenance thing.
This is maintenance, right? I'm thinking that at this point they have to wait for next gen, and they have to get their publishers in check.
Yeah.
They have to sit down and be like, look, guys,
make some deals.
The next Xbox has to be this power, and we need exclusives, because as much as they're not important, they do matter.
They do matter, yeah.
They do matter. And it feels a little bit more like maintenance to me.
I think they're trying to stop the bleeding, stop people abandoning Xbox way too much, and also give some enthusiasm to the fan base, because the fan base has been strapped. Let's be honest, they haven't had much to cheer about in terms of software.
I want them to win some battles.
Because a competitive Xbox is great for Sony because it challenges them and makes them stay awake. Sony stay woke when Microsoft is on its game, and Microsoft stay on its game when Sony's woke. So it's a mutually beneficial relationship in that sense. Yeah. But there's nothing wrong with calling out what you think the strategic plan is going wrong with either of those companies, and because it's Xbox right now. I mean, I love that Microsoft. I love that Michael was in this Convo Hotel. Yeah, I'm having a bit of a Freudian slip now.
We're going to be calling you Microsoft.
I'm glad that Mike was able to wave in that way because we, as well, full disclosure, we don't have Xboxes, so a lot of what we're talking about is like what we see.
But anyway, as I was saying, is that it's not like I'm a die-hard PlayStation fan. I'm not going to go around swinging the PlayStation flag whenever something. Yeah, but the fact of the matter is that if Microsoft have not convinced me and said, hey, you really need to buy the Xbox One X. Why, Microsoft? Why do I need to buy it?
That's just
like, we have this game,
and
we have this game. Oh, and by the way, Assassin's Creed is coming out, and Call of Duty, and they're all gonna look way better. I'll be like, holy shit, that game looks really good. And you're right, those games look way better on PlayStation 4.
And again, that's just you. For other people, they're not going to have that impression. So, you know, but yeah, I think, very stimulating discussion about the state of Xbox, where we're going in the future, what's happening with them right now. So thank you very much, guys, for joining us for this segment of Topic of the Week. Join us in our final segment as we talk about what we've been playing.